You. What's up, y'all? Tell like it is TV, man. We live like Channel 4 and Channel 5, man. Let's get into it, man. Shout out to that boy Tank, the Silverback Gorilla. There is no one Rilla, man. Stop playing with that boy Tank, man. Anyway, man, let's get into it, man. This is the Tank Davis versus Frank Martin live recap, man. This was a good card. I missed the Antoine Russell fight. I heard he lost. Well, I seen that he lost. It was funny because I was telling my boy about that. Hold up, real quick. Hold on. Let me hold on, real quick. All right. So we back. All right, man. So shout out to Tank for getting the dub at the end of the day. Tank is the new WBL. He's finally a real champion at 135. The new WBA world champion. Frank Martin, Frank Martin came to fight. You know what I'm saying? Frank Martin came to fight. I thought that Frank Martin would come to fight. I thought he had some success. But like I said, Tank is he's just a different beast, man. Once he starts to lock in on a target, I'm telling you, man, that dude he fights real nasty at the end of the day. This is why with Tank Davis, like, he is a good boxer. I think his boxing skills are very underrated as far as him being a boxer, knowing distance, knowing when to pressure fighters, knowing when to, he doesn't have to exert a lot of energy. As you've seen, like the first round, right? Let's go over the first round. Now, I gave Frank the first round, right? But what I've seen from Tank was just him being patient, walking him down. Not so much really looking for his shots at times. I thought that Tank was just kind of seeing what he got, letting him throw, let him throw his power. You know what I'm saying? A nigga ain't never been. That's like a nigga getting a bad bitch for the first time. You know what I'm saying? A nigga gonna be real excited. He gonna motherfucker ha 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 ha. He go, oh, this nigga giving me opportunity. Ha 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 ha. He gonna be throwing everything into his shots. early in the fight. You see what I'm saying? As you've seen with Frank Martin, he started to wear down to where the point he didn't have so much steam on his punches as the fight got later. You know what I mean? But you know, Frank Martin was just like, you know, a nigga that hit the bad bitch for the first time. You know what I'm saying? You going all in, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, that's what Frank did. But first round, I thought Frank came out. I thought Tank was just being patient. Got hit with some shots. It is what it is. That's the sport of boxing. Motherfucker gonna get you're gonna get hit. I don't, you know, it is what it is. Second round though, I thought that Tank won the second round. That's my personal take on that. I thought Tank did win the second round. I thought he landed the more meaningful shots. I thought he had more to ring generalship, seeing that he was walking down Frank Martin most of the fight. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the second round as well. Started to catch him with some body shots as to where you heard him, Derek James in the corner talking to him, and he was basically like, you know, nah, you know, I just got caught with a few body shots because he was feeling them body shots. You know what I'm saying? Them body shots was doing, and that's why I understand what the announcers was on. I'm like, bro, what the announcers on? Y'all act like Tank not hitting this dude or something. You know what I'm saying? You know, Frank Martin doing a great job. Ray Martin. I'm like, man, Floyd must pay y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? Floyd must gave y'all some money on the back end to, you know, make it seem like Tank ain't really doing shit. Because I thought Tank won the second round. Now, third round, I thought it was more of Tank just pretty much, you know, really pretty much just kind of taking the round off, to be honest. I felt like Tank kind of took the round off in the second round and third round, but I felt like he was, you know, just, you know, pretty much filling them out still. Not so much to filling them out, just like I was saying, like he was letting him blow his wad. Like, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? What you got? What you got? What you got? Kept stepping to him. What you got? What you got? What you got? You know what I'm saying? And when he kept backing him into them corners, Tank knew like, okay, eventually I know what it was. And Tank was genius for not throwing that upper. He did throw it one time, I want to say before that knockout, but that was a genius move from Tank to not show him that uppercut early. Because if not, that'd have been something that Frank Martin would have kept. He would have been looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo, I can't get hit by that. Tank kept throwing that chopping right, that left hand over the top. Boom, kept throwing that bitch every time his ass was going up against them ropes or backing up into that corner. So that's what led up to that uppercut. And this is what I mean by his boxing skills and his boxing IQ. It is very, very high. You know what I'm saying? Very high, man. Very high. Tank is not you know, like I said, to me in that Pitbull Cruz fight showed me a lot, especially with somebody who fucked their hand up. You know what I'm saying? And for people that make it seem like, you know, like, nigga, you ain't never fought nobody, period. You ain't never punched nobody in the face. You ain't never caught a jukes. You ain't never did none of that. So you don't know what it's like to be in a fight with somebody and your fucking hand is broke. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what it's like to be in a fight with somebody and your hand broke at the end of the day. Some of y'all ain't never even been in a fight in your life. You know what I'm saying? So you know it is what it is. Respect these guys for what they do at the end of the day. But I thought fourth round Tank came through, was doing what he needed to do. I thought fifth round, same thing. Sixth round, same thing. And like I said, Frank Martin did come to fight. I'm not gonna hold you. He was touching Tank up, but you know, Tank was still catching him with the more meaningful shots. Seventh round, I thought Tank did his thing as well. One of them rounds could have been close. I don't know if between 5 or 6, one of them rounds was kind of close where it kind of, you know, it kind of could have went either way. Like I said, I was listening to the broadcasting, so a lot of the broadcasting shit, they was just really like, I don't know, it just seemed like they was pro Frank. Um, Eighth round, we already know what happened. You know what I'm saying? That's when Tank really started. I thought the seventh round was the beginning of the end for Frank Martin because that's when Tank really started to heat up. You know what I'm saying? Tank really started to heat up in that seventh round. Got a little bit more comfortable as you seen him pretty much walking them down, you know, in his stance of ready to punch and not so much in the high guard. You know what I'm saying? Like high guard is ready to punch, but you know, he was done playing games at that point. You know what I'm saying? That seventh round, he came out. He was done playing with him at that time. All that high guard shit, you know, let me see what you got kind of shit. Like, nah, Tank was like, nigga, I'm the silverback gorilla. There is no one realer. You know what I'm saying? He came out with that level of veracity at the end of the day. And you know, You know what I'm saying? He let him know, man, you fucking with the realists. You know what I'm saying? You fucking with the realists at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's different here. You know what I'm saying? It's different here at the end of the day. So Tank came through, and Frank Martin did a bad job with backing himself up into them ropes. But at the end of the day, Frank did a good job with keeping the guard up for the most part. But like I said, I thought Frank needed to be more offensive if he wanted any shot at it at the end of the day. You're not going to be backing yourself in the corner with a precise power puncher. We talking about a precise power puncher. You keep putting yourself up against them ropes and in that corner like that. That's easy pickings with a precise power. I mean, just in general, for the average person that don't box, if you got somebody in the corner and you start wailing off shots, you gonna land something. You know what I'm saying? Something is gonna beam upside somebody's head at the end of the day. So it might be a lucky punch, but whatever the case may, I'm just talking about for somebody that ain't never put on the boxing gloves, ain't never fought nobody. If you put somebody in the corner and you start teeing off at the end of the day, you're gonna land something. You know what I'm saying? At least. And Frank Martin did a bad job with that. This is what I mean by IQ. You can't be in that kind of position with a precise power puncher like that. You just can't. You can't. You've seen him knock out Leo Santa Cruz like that in the corner. Rolly Romero actually got knocked out though, coming forward. So that just lets you know that the type of precise power puncher that you're dealing with. He can knock somebody out with somebody coming forward, and he can knock somebody ass out. If they give him the chance to knock him out, he gonna knock him out. You know what I'm saying? Especially backing up in the corner or being against the ropes where you can't move. If you move, you can only move lateral. You can only move, sideways and shit like that. You try to back yourself off into the ropes and think you're gonna get up out of that. Good luck with that. With a precise power puncher like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I thought Frank Martin, maybe he got tired. Maybe it's with the wear and tear of the body shots. The body shots was definitely getting to him. But Tank just was giving him different angles, different things to and I thought that Derek James did a great job. They obviously did a lot of film study on Javante Tank Davis. They look for that little dip and coming over, even though Tank still got it off at times. But he was pretty good with being able to kind of maneuver that early in the fight, as to where later on in the fight where he was a little bit more stationary, he couldn't really get out of the way of that shit. So it just kind of was what it was. He couldn't even get out of the way of just the pressure. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even giving Tank nothing to really respect for real. And as you heard in Tank corner, Tank and them niggas wasn't maybe early in the fight. Tank was seeing what he got, but as the fight grew longer and you start hearing from Tank's corner, you could hear Tank say, yeah, he ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing. So they knew that was lunch money. You know what I'm saying? They knew that Tank knew that was lunch money. It was just a point in time by the time he took his lunch money. You see what I'm saying? And that's what ended up happening with a beautiful left uppercut from Tank Davis, and then finished him off with the left hand. Let that boy sleep. You know what I'm saying? Left that boy stanking out there in the ring. That nigga Tank left that boy stanking in the ring, man. Goddamn, had his eyes up looking at the goddamn MGM Grand and the ceiling of that bitch. You know what I'm saying? But it was a good fight, man. It was a good fight. I thought it was a good fight. Good test for Tank. You know what I'm saying? We see what happens next with Tank, whether he's going to fight Lomachenko or if he's going to fight Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? I think he might fight Loma. That's what I personally think. I think him and Loma might be in the cards to get it done. But if him and Shakur get it in, man, I ain't got a problem with that neither. I got him beating Shakur, though. I know a lot of y'all think Shakur this and Shakur that. Man, Tank going to fuck that boy up, man. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Tank gonna fuck that boy up too. You know what I'm saying? And if Dev get his little oats expunged and shit like that, don't be surprised if Tank fight Devin either. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised he go up there and slap Devin around. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised he jump up 140 and slap Devin around at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But we're gonna see what's gonna happen with Tank. I do think he was a little rusty coming into the fight. You know, maybe that could have played into other reasons why. But Tank is normally like that anyway. Um, it just probably took him. It probably just took him a little bit more rounds to really start getting his feet wet at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the man been out there. He ain't fought since what, last April, and that's too long for some. Tank should be fighting at least twice a year. Somebody at the stature of Tank Davis should not be fighting one time a year. They should be fighting at least 2 times a year. Period. That keeps the fans engaged. Um, you know what I'm saying? Especially for somebody like if you Mayweather, you could pull that off. Like at a point in time where Mayweather, like towards the end of his career, where people already knew of Mayweather, so it was like you know what I mean. It really was like the Super Bowl effect. Except that even Floyd at an old age was still fighting twice a year. You see what I'm saying? A lot of these superstars in boxing now, maybe Canelo is probably the only one, but other than that, most of these guys are only fighting one time a year, which is not. It's not the greatest thing at the end of the day because you need visibility at the end of the day. You need people to be able to see you. So a motherfucker gonna forget about you in a year, especially a casual fan. A casual fan gonna forget about you in a year, fam. Easy work. You know what I'm saying? Who is David Benavidez? Who he fought? You don't even know. He just knocked out David Dimitri Andre, and I think he beat Caleb Plant that same year. So for David, you've seen how his success took off after having 2 fights in the same year. You see what I'm saying? Tank Davis needs to fight twice a year. I think he needs to fight twice a year, in my personal opinion. A lot of these boxers in general, I think a lot of these boxers only fighting one time a year, and it's not really doing so. I mean, it's doing decent, but it could be better. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, guys like Floyd was fighting twice a year. At an old age, Floyd was fighting twice a year. Maybe it's the budgets, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But like I said, like even Floyd would take fights where it's not so much the fight that people didn't want to see, it's what people wanted to see. But as far as the competition aspect, it was. I mean, I can't even say that with Floyd, but some fights were like, all right, and then some fights was like, oh yeah, we really wanted to see this one. You see what I'm saying? It was like, oh yeah, we really wanted to see this one right here. So that's where Tank is at. Tank is in a situation. Frank Martin was a good fight, but now it's time to triple that bag up at the end of the day and go ahead and get the fights that people really want to see. I think that Lomachenko would be a good fight, and I think that the only reason why I don't really like the Lomachenko fight for what I mean, because I just feel like Devin already technically beat him, even though I did think that he lost to him. It's just one of those opponents where Devin's name and shit like that is still going to be somewhat. Well, Devin Haney already beat him first, and he lost to Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? So I would rather for Tank to go ahead and get Shakur out the way. You know what I'm saying? And if Lomachenko's staying lingering around after that, then it kind of is what it is. But Tank is that dude, man. Tank is really that nigga, man. Real talk. Tank is that dude, man. Straight up and down. You heard Jim Gray sit up there and talk to him about him possibly fighting uh, Isaac Pitbull Cruz again. I think I would want to see that fight again. I wouldn't have a problem with that fight if it was at 140 though. If he's moving up to go to 140 for that fight to do the rematch, I don't have a problem with that fight. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't have a problem with that fight. It's for a title. He's going up in another weight division, so I wouldn't have a problem with that fight, me personally. Um, I would like to see him fight Devin Haney still. You know what I'm saying? I still want to see that fight. But Tank is at 135, so I'm gonna hold him to the standards at him being at 135. I would want to see him fight Shakur next. That's what I would want to see, depending on how Shakur looks in his next fight. I think Shakur kind of really dropped the ball with the Edwin De Los Santos fight just by the way he fought. It just was a bad look and really took a lot of steam off of his name. You see what I'm saying? It took a lot of steam off his name. I thought that Frank Martin with this fight, Frank Martin was coming off some really impressive wins with some decent competition. And that's a good fight right there. That was a good fight for Tank. Good look for Tank. Good look for Frank Martin as well. Shakur was going to fight him when nobody really wanted to fight Frank Martin, but PBC pulled the pulled the rug from under Shakur Stevenson at the end of the day and gave that fight to Tank. You know what I'm saying? That it just is what it is. That's what happened. So they kept everything in house. Maybe that might be a reason why, but I can't make the excuse on that if they're going to make the Lomachenko fight, because we all know that Lomachenko is signed to Bob Arum. So, like I said, I'm just interested to see what's going to be next for Tank. I'm excited that he got the win, and he got the win in an extreme impressive fashion at the end of the day. So salute to Tank. You know what I'm saying? The Silverback Gorilla. There is no one Rilla, niggas. That boy Tank. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Great night of boxing tonight. David Benavidez. I thought he did his thing today. Do I still think he beats Canelo Alvarez? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If him Canelo fight, Canelo beats him, man. Canelo gonna beat David, man. I'm telling you that right now. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? David might get in here and slay Goliath. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I would take Canelo as being a David at the end of the day, and going in here and slaying Goliath in Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? But Canelo gotta get off the bullshit and go ahead and make the fight happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? Get off the bullshit, Canelo, man. Go on ahead and go make that fight with David Benavidez and beat that man, because I think you could beat that man. But I'm not about to sit up here and play games like, oh man, nah, Canelo would beat him, so there's no reason why we need to see the fight. Like, nah, we need to see the fight, fam. You know what I'm saying? We need to see that fight. Just like I said, with Tank situation can't go wrong, because the Lomachenko fight would be a good look, and the Shakur Stevenson fight would be a good look. So it just really just comes down, to be honest with y'all, it really just comes down to who they're gonna pick. I think they probably going to pick Lomachenko over they pick Shakur Stevenson, unless somebody has like some amazing performance or something like that, or a change in plans from Tank Davis' team that they're going to go up to 140. But other than that, like I said, those are the only really two fights that I see actually happening, and either or I don't have a problem with. I would say, man, some people going to say, man, he should have fought Lomachenko. Why he fighting Shakur? You know what I'm saying? Some people going to say, oh man, why he ain't fighting Shakur? Why he fighting Loma? He should have fought Shakur. You know what I'm saying? So, it just kind of is what it is in a situation with Tank Davis, where he's at, and with the level of superstardom that he's at. I think that it's a lot of times people are damned if they do, damned if they don't. Like I said, I rock with Devin Haney and Brother Bill and all that. Brother Bill just do what he got to do to, keep his name, keep his name, and keep his son's name in the mouth in the sports of boxing at the end of the day, and he's done a tremendous job at that. Sometimes I don't get the level of hate that Bill Haney and Devin Haney get, especially somebody like Bill, who be out here jumping in niggas motherfucking this nigga Bill Candyman out here. Like, Bill fuck around and jump in my chat and jump on my live stream. If I speak Bill Haney name up too much, this nigga might ask for the link. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So people like Bill Haney, I appreciate dudes like him. Do he be capping? Yes, but all these niggas be capping. So when niggas be having a level where, oh, I hate that nigga, man, he be lying, man. He talking about Tank, he talking about this, he talking about that. He said his son this, he said his son that. That's what he's supposed to do. He's a fucking promoter. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't have the level of hate for Bill Haney that some people on YouTube have for Bill Haney. I think it's a little outrageous that people have. People are really still celebrating the fact that Ryan Garcia fucking cheated and got popped for PEDs. But it's sad. It's the world we live in. Like I said, I was talking to my boy about this today, right? I was like, yo, he just told me that Floyd was fighting sometime in August or July or something like that. And I was mentioning it. I was like, bro, why the fuck is Floyd still fighting? But anyway, I'm like, Floyd got to stop this shit, because eventually, what if somebody do knock Floyd ass off at the end of the day? Hit him with a shot, knock his ass out, or wobble him and knock him down, and got Floyd looking crazy out here, right? Ain't nobody gonna care that that nigga was 50-0. In 20 years after that situation happens, people just gonna be like, oh yeah, nah, Floyd did lose. Floyd did lose. People ain't gonna do no fact check, ain't gonna be no research done on it. it's going to be known that Floyd Mayweather lost to whatever or whoever the fuck he lost to. It's not going to be, well, it really wasn't a real fight. Floyd was about 50 years old. Floyd was 52 years old and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't going to care about that. It's just going to be that Floyd fucking loss. And, that's why I'm like, yeah, Floyd got to get out of this shit, man. But I don't know. The nigga, like I was telling my boy, the nigga might be Billie Jean. He might be the one. He might be the one that ain't nobody going to really fuck with him and ain't nobody going to whatchamacallit because Floyd stays in shape. You know what I'm saying? In the weigh-in, what looked alarming to me was how Frank Martin looked. He looked real sunken in at the end of the day. And that a lot of times when you see fighters like that, it maybe that's just his makeup. Frank is a physique kind of guy. So, when a guy like that loses a lot of water weight, he's gonna look like that. He looked like one of the ancient pharaohs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, nigga look like I can't even think of that cartoon movie, but it is what it is. But he definitely looked like him. You know what I'm saying? Up there on that scale, but he was weight drained, as where you see Tank. Tank didn't look so much like he was sunken in, but he didn't look as sunken in as Frank Martin did. You know what I'm saying? Frank Martin looked like, he had the Devin Haney situation going on when he was fighting Cambosis. You know what I'm saying? They had the Thriller look. You know what I'm saying? When Michael Jackson turned around and you know what I'm saying? Turned around in that Thriller and started doing all that dancing and shit as a zombie and all that. They're like, yeah, that nigga had that kind of look on him. I'm like, yeah, that nigga is, I ain't gonna say he weight drained, but he's not fighting around in his natural weight. You know what I'm saying? He's nowhere near. Frank Martin probably should be fighting at 140. You know what I'm saying? Probably really should be fighting at 140 for real. 135 might be too small for him. You know what I'm saying? Frank Martin is probably coming off at probably walks around a good 150, 160 ish. You know what I'm saying? So to lose all that weight to go down to 135, he just looks like he's and like I said, in fights like that where you pretty much them body shots is going to take effect on him. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I thought that Tank was doing when he was going down to that body early. Let me say this too. Y'all notice David Benavidez is fighting like Tank? Did y'all notice that? You know what I'm saying? That's me personally. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like watching that David Benavidez fight. I was like, this nigga fighting like Tank and shit. This nigga biting Tank style low key. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. Shout out to Tank. You know what I'm saying? My fellow New Englander. You know what I'm saying? My fellow East Coast brother. You know what I'm saying? From Baltimore, Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my fellow East Coast brother, the Silverback Gorilla. There is no one Rilla. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, I'm about to get ready to get up off of here, man. But yeah, man, shout out to Tank. It was a hell of a boxing event tonight. Shout out to Prime, Amazon Prime, for the pay-per-view. Hell of a card. Shout out to Tank. Shout out to Frank Martin, man. You know what I'm saying? Frank Martin, got his name in lights, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. And he's gonna be, I think Frank Martin is still gonna be good at the end of the day. I think he'll still be able to compete and be able to beat a lot of guys at 135. Just Tank is just special. But one thing that Frank Martin has to learn to do is that he has to box more sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I thought that, well, not box more, but he has to fight more than, being cautious. Because I thought if he would have, but like I said, to me, I think he was so worried about Tank's power and what was coming back, the counter shots that was coming back from Tank. That shit kind of had his ass a little gun shy a little bit. And that's why his ass was, backing up into them ropes and constantly being walked down. He was worried about throwing some shit and getting countered. He respected the power of Tank. You know what I'm saying? As to where Tank did respect his power, but he was just letting them, he was just kind of letting them get his shit off early in the fight. Yep, get that off. Yep. Uh-huh. Yep, roll, slip, roll, hands up, peekaboo. Yep. Throw that. Yeah. Just kind of taking that a little bit, taking the brunt off a lot of his force that he was trying to push on early in them rounds. And so, like I said, when Tank finally, when Frank Martin started to wear down, is when Tank really started to put the pressure on him for real. That's when he started to come with the big shots. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really caring about getting countered or anything from Frank Martin because he wasn't worried about his power because he started to break him down. And he knew he was breaking them down. So, it is what it is. But man, I don't know what was going on with the announcing though. The announcing swore up and down like Frank Martin was beating the fuck out of Tank Davis or something. So I'm glad that the judges did have it 66. What the judges had it 66, 67 for Tank Davis. Let me see what my scorecard was. 50, 59, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. So I had a 64. So 64 to what? Let me see. Oh, so I had it. Hold on. Oh yeah, 60. Hold on. 50s. Yeah, so I had a 60. Yeah, so I had the same card. I had Tank Davis 67. What is this? 65 or some shit like that. So yeah, I had Tank winning by a couple rounds. Um, Pretty similar to what the judges had it as. I don't know what the announcers were seeing because if you leave it up to the announcers, Tank Davis was getting his ass whooped all through the first 5 rounds, which is complete deception at the end of the day. I ain't gonna sit up and hold y'all on that. That is complete deception at the end of the day. To make it seem as if Frank Martin is winning all these rounds was ridiculous. They up through 5, I think they had like Frank Martin winning like at least 5 rounds. I'm like, how the fuck is this nigga Frank Martin winning all these rounds? Like, what the fuck are they seeing, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what fight they was watching and shit. They had me like, am I, you know what I'm saying? Am I high or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm smoking a little bit of herb and shit, but bro, like, what fight are they seeing that I'm not seeing? You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing Tank walk this nigga into the corner, hit him with big shots, hit him with body shots, hit him with the jab. And it's not that Frank Martin wasn't getting busy out there. He was getting busy. But, like I said, Tank shit was just different. You know what I'm saying? When he started to close the gap on his ass. He started to close the gap. He was real dangerous. And then, like I said, Frank Martin got happy with touching him up, touching him up, touching him up, touching him up, to where Tank can work himself in the distance and then actually hit him with those big body shots. Because that's what really set up a lot of this shit anyway, was the body shots that Tank was hitting him with. Wasn't so much anything that as far as pressure and stuff like that, but it was the big body shots that was really taking the air out of Frank Martin and his power as well. But it is what it is though, man. I'm about to ready to get up off of here though. But anyway, man, don't get mad at me, man. I just gotta tell like it is, man. So shout out to the day ones, shout out to the new ones, man. Make sure you niggas hit the like button, the subscribe button. If you want to donate, the links is in the description box. If not, that's cool. The like button is, that's right, y'all. The like button is free. Anyway, tell like it is TV. We out of here, y'all. One.